Does your grandmother know how to use AI? Well, in China, she just might. And that's just the beginning. 3 weeks after DeepSeek launch, Shanghai had already rolled out a citywide program, hundreds of sessions, thousands of elderly residents learning AI in their local community centers. They called it Little Whale. They used it to ask health questions. Nobody waited. The country just moved. I spent 10 days there trying to understand how and what it means for every business that isn't paying attention. On day 2, someone on our tour ordered a product on their phone. It arrived within the half hour. We were in the middle of Shanghai. Not a takeaway, a physical product from a warehouse. In 30 minutes, China has been the world's largest online retail market for 13 consecutive years. 9 out of 10 Chinese consumers made a purchase through a social media platform last year. Not an e-commerce platform, a social media platform. In China, those are the same thing. Xiaohongshu, known in the West as RedNote, think Instagram, Pinterest and Google search, collapsed into one app with 300 million monthly active users, is not a content platform. It's an inference engine. Every scroll, every pause, every hover is being read. By the time you see a product recommendation, the AI has already built a detailed intent model about you. You're not browsing, you're being understood. ByteDance is not a short video company. ByteDance is a recommendation engine that happens to have a video interface. The business is inference. Knowing what you want before you do. TikTok is a byproduct of that capability, not the point of it. Now, let's be real about something. This inference engine runs on a data environment that doesn't exist in the West. In China, the consent model is different. The regulatory framework is different. The relationship between platforms, government, and personal data is fundamentally different. That's not a moral judgment. It's a constraint map, which means you can't just copy the speed, because underneath the speed is a trust architecture built over a decade where platforms know exactly what they're allowed to do with your data. The government backstops that framework, and users largely accept it. In the West, that trust architecture doesn't exist in the same way. Fragmented regulation, platform liability fights, users who don't trust you with their data. So before you ask, how do we move like Chinese companies, ask whether your trust architecture is ready for it. And there's a layer underneath all of this that most Western observers miss. In China, if you post content on finance, medicine, law, or education, you're legally required to hold professional qualifications in that subject, not follower count, not engagement rate. Credentials, platforms like Douyin and Weibo must verify them and can be fined for hosting unqualified voices on regulated topics. The recommendation engine optimizes for what you want. The regulation layer requires verified authority to deliver it, 2 systems running simultaneously, and then there's the live stream economy. In China, a single presenter in a single session can generate more revenue than most Western brands see in a quarter. Lai Jiqi, known as the Lipstick King, generated $2.9 billion in a single 12-hour session on Singles Day. That number is 3 years old. Nobody's suggesting it's got smaller. When a celebrity collab goes live, entire product lines sell out before the session ends. This isn't influencer marketing attached to an e-commerce platform. The live stream is the storefront, the sales team, and the payment gateway simultaneously. And then there's Shein. Shein scrapes the internet for trending designs, feeds them through AI, and generates up to 10,000 new product listings every single day. Small batches go live on the platform. The AI watches what converts and what doesn't. Winners get scaled. Losers disappear within days. A new design can become a garment in 10 days. This is not fast fashion. This is AI native commerce, where the platform and the supply chain are the same system. Luckin Coffee doesn't open stores. They place AI-powered kiosks in high footfall locations, collect transaction data, and when the algorithm confirms sufficient demand, the kiosk graduates into a full store. No market research, no focus groups, no lease signed before the demand is proven. Data decides, and it's not just commerce. When DeepSeek launched in January 2025, the adoption didn't stay in the boardrooms. Within weeks, Shanghai nursing homes were running structured courses teaching elderly residents how to use it. Provincial governments across Shenzhen, Kunshan, and elsewhere had deployed it in local government operations. Children as young as 6 were receiving AI classes in school. The country treated a frontier AI model the way the West treats a new phone operating system. In the West, DeepSeek was a news story. In China, it became a curriculum. Now, I sat in rooms in China with people building the AI layer underneath all of this. I won't name them, but what they told me changed how I think about the next 5 years. Today, AI and robotics could technically replace roughly 80% of jobs. The technology is not the constraint is policy. A country of 1.4 billion people with mass unemployment is not a technology problem, it's a stability crisis. The government knows this, the break is deliberate, but here's what is already happening, quietly at the edges. Solo founders in China, one person, one company, are using AI coding tools to build entire products and businesses alone. Not prototypes, revenue-generating companies. The bottleneck isn't capital or team size anymore. It's whether you understand both the technology and the business problem well enough to direct it. The cyborg CEO thesis playing out in real time in a dorm room in Hangzhou. Western companies are asking, how do we use AI to improve our marketing? Chinese companies answered a different question 3 years ago. How do we make AI the entire front end of the customer relationship? Those are not the same question. One adds AI to an existing model. The other builds the model around AI from the start. The difference is the same architectural gap we saw in the cars. Chinese brands didn't have to unlearn anything. A solo founder in a dorm room in Hangzhou is already doing what most leadership teams are still debating. That's the cyborg CEO thesis. Not a prediction, a description of what's already happening. Stop asking how to add AI to what you do. Start asking what you'd build if AI was the foundation. The distance between those two answers is your real competitive gap. In the next episode, I meet the company giving amputees their hands back. Controlled by brain signals, no surgery, no implants. A child born without a hand, now doing calligraphy. Built in Hangzhou, already FDA cleared. And I want to ask the question nobody's asking. If China is building the bionic human, what does that mean for the rest of us?